everyone. Good morning. It is Wednesday. It's time for our midlife conversation. And as you can see, I have a guest. And this is Donna. This is Donna May. And you may remember a little while ago when I did my makeup tutorial, it was because I'd thought, oh, I know, I'll do a makeup thing. And I'll ask Donna to do it. And of course, left it right at the last minute. And Donna was very busy in Manchester doing a masterclass. But Donna is here. So hi, Donna.
I'm here. Hi. How are you? You good?
I'm
Haven't seen you
good.
for
I'm good.
ages.
I'm good. And we were chatting just
But the last time I
before
saw you, we were at a yoga class together.
we were at a very odd yoga class together where it was to do
Very
with you
odd
had to
yoga
get
class.
yourself
Yeah.
to a point where you shake and you shake all your
Shake.
tensions out or whatever it was. Most bizarre thing.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I was
Yeah.
going to say most bizarre thing I've ever done. It's not. I've done a lot of very bizarre things, but it's right up there. It was very
Yeah.
good. So we were chatting just before we started this, and I think what's going to be so great today is obviously you've been a professional makeup artist for over 2 decades, and you've worked in broadcast media,
Yes.
you've worked in photographic shoots and this kind of thing. But you've recently over the past few years branched out, you've launched your own range and this kind of thing, which we can talk about. But you were telling me that the master classes and things that you've been doing all around the UK,
Mm,
you've actually learned so
mm.
much by dealing with hundreds of women, real women, not us weirdos who work in telly, and getting feedback on exactly what it is that women want, what they need, and also
Yeah.
what they're being sold to, if you know what I mean. So they're buying things that they
Old.
don't
Yes.
necessarily need. So let's start off with
Mm.
the basics. If you were doing a masterclass now and you were faced with a load of middle-aged women,
Yeah.
which you are, what would you start with?
Right. So the first thing that we talk about in a masterclass is who uses a primer. Okay. And half the class put their hands up, and then I go round and I say, "Why do you use a primer?" And they go, "I don't know." Why do you use a primer? Because I'm meant to use a primer. Why do you use a primer? Because I was told I need a primer. Nobody knows why they're using a primer, okay? And generally, I then go around the class and I say, "Well, who's got oily skin?" And they say, "Nobody's got oily skin. Not many people. It's always more combination skin or dry skin." And I say, "Well, you don't need a primer then, and you don't need a primer then, and you don't need a primer then." And women are just sold these things because they're told they need them, you know. And the problem is as we get older, I mean, all the women on the the classes would agree with this. The less makeup you want to wear, because it does sit in the lines and the cracks and the crevices and all of that. And the more and more people are layering on their skin before they even put their foundation on, it just means the makeup's going to slip off during the day. And that's the biggest problem I hear is, how do I make my makeup last longer, and how do I stop getting panda eyes? That's the biggest thing. And generally, people are moisturising their skin way too much before they put their foundation on, or using primers that they don't really need.
So what
So
what
that's
what do
that's
we
the
need
start
then?
of makeup.
What should we do? I because as
Well,
soon as you said
yeah,
panda eyes, that's my biggest issue. Is I start off all right, and then I
yeah.
constantly have to do that because for some reason my mascara decides to just fall down. I don't know why, but maybe we'll come to
Well,
that in a
yeah.
minute. But just to let
Well,
you know, my antenna pricked up.
yeah. Well, what your mascara is doing actually is it's melting from the moisturiser that you probably put on your face before you started your makeup this morning. And that's what moisturiser does. It melts away the mascara. So your face there is exactly what all the women do at the masterclass. And they can't quite believe that I say to them, you got to stop moisturising your face before you put makeup on. Again, we've been told, like, it's drilled into us, isn't it? Wash, tone, moisturise. We're doing it too much. We've lost the pH of our skin. I absolutely do all those things in the evening. I mean, I've got a massive skincare regime and I do all of that stuff in the evening. But in the morning, I just wash my face with water and then I go straight in with my makeup. And people gasp. They say, "Oh, but isn't your face so tight? And how do you do that?" And it's like, give it 3 days of not moisturising your face and your skin will not feel tight after washing it with water. Plus, in our foundations these days, there are so many, I'm just looking at, there's so many amazing ingredients now in a foundation. They've all got skincare ingredients in, they've all got SPF in, that is your moisturiser in there. So you just go straight in with that foundation. And everybody that I have suggested it to
Yeah.
says it works. So
So
there's
you
something in it. There's something in it.
but that does make sense, because I suppose, back through the mists of time when, beauty companies first came up with the idea of, how can we sell them 400 things to do when actually they only need to do one, because we can sell 400 things.
One,
But also,
absolutely.
makeup wasn't as advanced as it is now. So it makes logical sense that
Yeah,
you only need to use the one thing.
that's right.
You
Yeah,
held up there, it looked like,
yeah.
was it a Bare Minerals foundation?
That was a Bare Minerals tinted moisturiser.
Okay. So what would you
Yeah, that's a
recommend
great
then?
one.
Tinted moisturizer versus a foundation, or does it just depend on, what your day entails?
Depends on your skin tone. So the next thing that we normally do in the masterclass is we work out women's skin tone, because they don't know what their skin tone is. So how are they meant to buy a foundation on the internet or in store when they don't even know what colour skin tone they've got, So we work out like your skin tones, and there's ways of working that out. You're either a pink skin toned or a yellow skin toned. Once you have worked that out, I can tell you a couple of ways to work that out. So if you're pink skin tone, you normally burn in the sun. You've normally got some pink undertones to your skin, quite pink cheeks. You're normally fair skinned, I'd say. And you've normally got blue veins, okay? If you're yellow undertoned, you're normally olive skinned. You don't necessarily burn in the sun that much. You've got green veins in your wrists, and you'd probably sway, this is a funny thing, but you'd probably sway to wearing gold jewellery rather than silver jewellery, just as a few little things that
Okay.
are hints towards what your skin tone is. So once you know your skin tone, at least you've narrowed down, okay, I need to be looking at the cooler shades or the warm shades. Okay, so it's all about, so many women feel overwhelmed when they are makeup shopping. They don't know where to start or what to buy because there's too many products out there. And then when they go into these makeup shops, they feel pressured by that person on Chanel or that person on Armani, because they're thinking, well, you're going to sell me your stuff, aren't you? You work on commission and that. So what I try to do is teach women how to narrow down the product they want, so they're not choosing from 100 foundations, they're choosing from maybe 10.
Okay.
So you need to know your skin tone first of all. Then you need to know your skin type. If you've got dry skin, you don't want to put on a matte foundation. You want something glowy and glossy, yeah. And if you've got oily skin, you don't want to put a glossy foundation on. You want to put a matte foundation on. So that's, again, narrowing down your choices all the time, okay? So what we do is we go through everybody's skin tone, okay? So I'm a yellow skin tone and I've got a combination to dry skin. So I will know that I need a warm base, a warm foundation, and I want one with some glow into it, okay? So I will look for words like illuminating or glowy, or I don't know, I can't think of any other words that are like
That kind of
glossy,
thing, yeah.
those kind of words. Yeah, rather than anything that says stay all day, matte, long wearing, because all those ones are all matte foundations, okay? Really good for oily skins. So we go through that, and then we talk about what coverage women want. I'd say 99% of the women that I do the masterclass with, they all want a glowy base. They all want a glowy base. And they don't want anything too heavy. So most of them sway towards a tinted moisturiser, believe it or not. And there's some amazing tinted moisturisers out there that I love. And then if they need some extra help in areas, normally it's across this sort of the cheek and nose area that you might want to put a little bit more coverage on. You could just add more tinted moisturiser, or you could go in with a little bit of foundation mixed with your tinted moisturiser. Makeup artists never use one colour. We are always squirting 3 or 4 on the back of our hand. And actually, the more and more I talk to, regular women, they do have 2 or 3 foundations in their bags. They have one for winter, one for summer, so they can mix them slightly to get the perfect shade, the perfect consistency. And also, lots of women think that, oh, I can't mix a foundation with a tinted moisturiser because they're 2 different products. You absolutely can. You can. In fact, you get a perfect consistency mixing both of those. So that's how we try and narrow down what coverage you want.
Perfect. And then when it comes to, so that's coverage. What about, and you've
Yep.
touched on sort of problem areas. So what about sort of
Mm.
under eye? So obviously that comes
Yeah.
in
Okay.
two different things. It's either puffy or a bit shadowy, and then by the time we get to
Shadowy. That's
RA,
right.
there's fine lines.
Fine lines. Yeah, absolutely. So makeup's not going to do anything to hide puffiness. Okay. So what I advertise for women that wake up with puffy eyes is those things called ice globes. I don't know if you've heard of them. They look
Yeah.
like lollipops. So it's like a stick with a glass ball on the end that kind of rotates, and you keep them in the freezer because to take puffiness down, you need cold. So you rub that under your eyes, okay? Putting any makeup onto puffy eyes is just going to accentuate them. So makeup's not the answer for puffy eyes. For darkness, though, you want to go for a concealer that is a peach colour, okay? So not a really pale, fair concealer, one that's peach, because peach counteracts grey, okay? But I see so many women that get concealer happy, and let me just find a concealer here in my makeup bag. They get the concealer and they woo all the way under, okay? Now that's fine if you've got no lines under your eyes, yeah? But as we get older, we need to be a bit more considerate of where we're putting that concealer. So really, if you look at your eyes, you're only really dark on the inside here, and maybe kind of towards the edges here. This space here, kind of 2 fingers here, doesn't really get dark. I don't see that on anybody that's dark. And this is where most of our small lines are. That you want to stay away from. Don't put your like, you've got to be fussy where you're putting your concealer. Stop being so willy-nilly and woo, just doesn't look good. Doesn't look good. It will sit in the lines.
And how do you blend it in? Do you use your finger or do you use one of those little sponges? Do you use a brush?
Yeah. Yeah, I use a finger and what I do is when I put concealer, in actual fact, I don't wear concealer. I will use more of my tinted moisturiser or foundation, a little bit more of that, and I will just add that to under my eyes. I'm all about the less products I need to use, the better, really. But I appreciate I haven't got super dark eyes, so people that have got super dark eyes will want to use a concealer. So if I do use a concealer, I would do my foundation. I then put my concealer on, and then I would leave it for a few seconds. I'd then probably bronze my face with my bronzer, and then I'd come back to the concealer because concealer needs a little bit of time to sink into the skin. Otherwise, you're doing this and you're just wiping it all off. It's not doing anything. So once it's sunk in for about a minute, it's then pressing and rolling rather than swiping. And definitely use your fingers, pressing and rolling on that area. Will just press it into the skin, keep it will keep it settled there rather than smudging it and moving it too much.
Brilliant. Okay, so let's go on to the bronzing of the face. Again, this
Yeah,
is something
bronzer
that
of the
so many
face.
of us get wrong.
Yeah, so I like this bit because lots of women think that bronzer and blusher are the same thing, and they're not. They're 2 different things. So once we've got our nice canvas, we've put our foundation on, we've got our concealer, we then want to put the contours back into the face, okay? So you do the contouring with shadows. So a bronzer is what creates the shadows for you. I love the one that you can't get hold of at the moment, the Chanel one, but I also love, because I like a cream bronzer, I also love the Charlotte Tilbury cream bronzer as well. And you need a nice chunky kabuki brush like this. It's got to be a big fat brush because you don't want any marks on your face, okay? So with a bronzer, the easiest way for people to remember where to place the bronzer is the number 3. So if you kind of think like this, okay? So like that. So I start in the middle, so it'd be on the cheek and up towards the hairline, always buffing, because we don't want any streaks, okay? So buffing that so the colour gets diffused. Taking it up into the hairline, just above your forehead here, and then along your jawline, okay? That gives you back that nice sharp chin that we kind of start to lose as we get older. And then always under the chin, because that doesn't see much light. So it's nice to bronze that up so it matches your chest and everything. And what this does is this puts the shadows back in where you need them back in to flatter the face.
And
So that's different from blusher. Blushers are different.
they're creamy bronzers rather than a powder bronzer.
Yeah, rather than
This
the powder
is
one.
a new
And I'll tell you
thing
why
for
I like a
me.
cream one.
Okay.
Yes, yeah. I mean, I generally love all cream makeup these days. It's not often in my makeup bag, you don't find many powder products anymore, just because the whole age thing, it looks glossier on the skin, so it looks more youthful. And also, it's really easy to blend. So lots of women that go in with their powder bronzer, say if they go like this, then oh God, there's too much there. You know, you can't once you've done that, you're stuck. But with a creamy one, you can blend it in a bit more. If you, it's more idiot proof. It's more idiot proof. If you make a mistake, it's easy to correct it when you're using a cream.
Okay. And I suppose it sits better because, you know, if you've put a foundation or a tinted moisturizer or anything like that, it's you're adding a cream on a
Yeah.
cream rather than a powder on a cream, which can almost, you know,
Yes.
you're fighting against
Sometimes
each
it can
other.
stick, and
Yeah.
that's
Okay.
right. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay. And then
And then it would be
eyes.
blusher, and then we.
Oh, blush, blush. Okay.
Oh, I.
Yes. No,
Well,
no,
blush.
no,
I
no.
would
Go
do
for blush.
blush first.
Go for blush.
Yeah, I'd go blusher, and again, cream blusher. I love cream blusher. And lots of women. Again, I find it really funny to see where women put their blusher, because lots of them, it's all over. Lots of them have it up here, and some's there, and some's too low here. So, the ideal place, I say to women, is like the pinch. Remember that in the Victorian days they pinched their cheeks, okay, and it's all about getting a flush, which is very pretty on a girl, okay. So women that put their blusher up here, I'm just like, I just don't understand that. It's just not pretty up there. It's the flush in the apple of the cheek that looks pretty. So I always think, this is me, you know, different makeup artists will do it different ways, but I like the blush to be on the apples of the cheek, but just a little bit on the top of the apple rather than the bottom of the apple. If you do
Okay.
anything too close to these lines, it closes the face up a little bit. So you want everything kind of like on the top of the apple, so about here, and you're not taking it past the eyes really. And then it looks
Okay.
fresh. It looks fresh. It looks natural, rather than looking like makeup. It's looking flushed, and that's the whole point of blusher. You're meant to look flushed,
Yeah.
like the
Yeah, and
Victorian ladies.
healthy, like you've got a healthy glow. And that's
Healthy.
interesting. So I kind of
Absolutely.
tend to do mine sort of mainly there, and then I do go up a little
Yeah.
bit. So everybody who's watched my past one, just
Stop you
ignore it.
going up.
Just don't bother looking at my past thing. Look at this video because I've clearly got bits wrong. And I use a powder. I don't use a cream. How do you know whether to go for a pinky tone or a peachy tone or when it comes to blush? Is it the same rule of thumb as it was
Yeah.
with your foundation?
I think blush is one of the easiest products to buy because they are all tones of pink at the end of the day. Okay, like whether it's peachy or pinky. I mean, there's no blue, there's no orange, there's no green,
Yeah.
there's no yellow, there's nothing like that. They're all hues. I mean, if I get my makeup bag out here, I've got, you know, they're all hues of pink.
Okay.
So whether or not, I mean, if you're very pink skinned, then you're not gonna want to put pink on your cheeks. You're gonna want to go for a more corally colour. But generally, I think any shade of pink suits everybody. Suits
Yeah.
everybody. You just want to be able to see it, you know. So make sure it's bright enough. A lot of women are scared to choose their colours. On the classes, I get out. Just going to show you. I get out this one from Trini, and they say, "No way, you can't put that on." You know, because when you see it, you think there's no way. So look at that. It's bright orange. But actually, it's like a bright watermelon colour, and it looks gorgeous when it's on the skin. Similar to my long-time favourite one, which is Petunia by Stila. And again, it's a really bright watermelon colour, but it looks so fresh. Half the class go and buy this one in the end because they love it. It suits everybody.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's not too hard to choose a blusher. I've got blushers like I've got lipsticks. So I don't stick to one blusher. I have 5 or 6 on the go, and just depends on my mood, really.
Yeah. And I suppose it's also what you're wearing.
Yeah, what you're wearing, yeah. So today I've gone pinky because I've got pink in my top. Yeah, so yeah.
Yeah.
Depends on your mood, really.
So what next?
What next? Well, brows would be next. And brows is a great thing because brows make such a difference to women. If some of the women that come in the class have never made up their brows before, and they leave transformed. And it's so funny because all the other women in the class are like, oh my God, you look so different. And I think it just really gives them confidence to know that makes such a difference. It really frames your face. And it's funny because I used to do the Look Good, Feel Better cancer classes at St Thomas's Hospital, which were for cancer patients. And the biggest thing was the cancer patients felt that they looked poorly because they'd lost their eyebrows. Yeah. So when you know, your average lady comes into the masterclass and they don't do their eyebrows, they look washed out because you've put all this makeup on, you've got powder and foundation. So you've got all of those layers on top of your brows. So you need to bring them back to life, you know, and they really frame your face, and you just don't look washed out once you've done your brows. The easiest way to do brows is, let me just get my other bag, hold on, is, because I'm all about everything that's easy and quick, you know, you don't need to, you know, fluff about too much, is a brow mascara, yeah?
Okay.
So it looks like a mascara wand, it's got the teeniest little wand on the end, and you literally brush through, they're all colours, so you kind of choose it depending on the shade of your hair, and you brush it through, and that will just bring your brows back to life. It's really easy, and it makes such a difference to your face.
So that's obviously really good as well if
big
your
one.
eyebrows are going grey, but you don't necessarily want to pluck them because then you're going to lose
Yeah.
half of them. Because that's where I'm at.
That's right.
Because I've tried dyeing my eyebrows, and I
Yeah.
guess because grey hair doesn't react as well as, you know, normal hair, I
Dye very
suppose.
well, yeah.
It just doesn't really work. What about penciling them in? Because
No.
so many of us through the 80s and 90s, what have you, we'll have over plucked them and it's not quite grown back. But we're too scared. I mean, I actually
Yeah.
had mine tattooed years ago. Actually, that was with you. We got our
Yes,
eyebrows
yeah.
tattooed.
Yeah, it was, yeah. Mine
And
are still going from that.
yeah.
I never had them topped up or anything, but they're still, you know.
So is that something that you would recommend? I mean, obviously that's a different expense, but is that something that you would recommend? Because you do
Yeah.
it once and then it's done.
Yes, absolutely. I really recommend it. But I also really recommend in doing your research, because it is such a big part of your face is your eyebrows, that you want to go to somebody that's recommended and you've seen their work. I mean, I spent months trying to find that person that came to see us and do our brows, and she was very good. But you know, it's a big thing, brows these days, so it won't be hard to find somebody that's good in your local village or your local town. But when it comes to penciling brows, you've got to be really careful because they can look really harsh and flat when you pencil. So I always say, even if you're going to pencil in bits that are missing or you want to make them sharper, still go over with a brow mascara, because eyebrows in real life are 3D. There's hairs on them, yeah? They're not flat. So even if you pencil them, go over with a brow mascara, because it just picks up the light on the hairs. Even if you haven't got many hairs, it will still pick up the light on the hairs, and they'll look more realistic than just a pencil.
Yeah. Because I still have little bits that I pencil in, and then so I pencil them, and then I go over it again with an with a brush, and that actually almost like rakes
Yeah.
lines into it. That's what I've got
Blends it through.
the Charlotte
Yeah.
Tilbury eyebrow pencil is really good because it's got the brush at one end and the
Yeah.
pencil at the other, and
Spoolie
it
thing at
works
the other.
exactly for that. And then same like you said, use the eyebrow mascara on top, just kind of hold it in place and cover all the
Yeah.
grays. So what's
Yeah.
interesting, you do the brows first.
And I know that, like, that sounds like, oh God,
But I do them
sorry.
at the end. I do it after I've put my eye makeup on. So that's interesting. You do yours first. Does it
Ah,
matter? Or
okay.
not
Oh
really?
yeah. No, I do the brows next, and then it's all about the eyes. And it's really funny because on my masterclasses, I spend the most time on foundation and eye makeup. It seems like those two are the things that women find most challenging. And eye makeup, it all depends. I said I could do a masterclass on eye makeup, because there's so many different ways you can make eyes up. But what I try to do is show them the easiest and most impactful way, you know, to do an eye makeup, and how to layer that eye makeup up if they want to jazz it up a bit more or go out for the evening. And generally, again, a cream. I love a cream. So I've got a bag here full of cream crayons. So you feel like a kid because it's just like a crayon you're just colouring in your face. But I love a cream shadow. These ones are from Delilah. Kiko have got loads, which are amazing. Most brands have got them now. And I find the easiest way is to colour the whole eyelid in, up to the socket line. The socket line is where you can press into your eyes, just above your eyeball, and then blend it with a brush. But also to take it just underneath the lower lashes, just slightly underneath the lower lashes, which loads of women are really scared to do. Nobody puts makeup underneath their eyes because they feel like it's just too much. But that is what really finishes an eye makeup off. It looks professional and it gives that nice smoky effect. And then you could just leave it like that. You could just put your mascara on. Lovely, you know, got a nice sort of smoky eye. Or you could add some kohl pencil on the inside waterline, which really makes it more dramatic and more smoky. You could add a darker crayon just into the corners and blend. So you've got a sort of a double layer there, which looks really professional. The more layers you add, the more it looks like you know what you're doing. But generally, one colour over the whole eyelid and not the cream colour in the eye palette. All these women open up their eyeshadow palettes and it's the cream one that's always been used and the dark one hasn't been touched. Okay. So I'm like, right, you're not allowed to use that cream eyeshadow over your whole eyelid. You've got to choose the mid colour, be a little bit braver, choose the mid-range colour. Let me grab one. Hold on a minute, I'll grab one here, hold on. Get it out of my bag. Okay, yep, so most women will go for like a colour like that. And that one is always used up in a palette. But actually, go for something a little bit, you know, cocoa, a little bit rosy or something. Just that mid-range that's in your palette. And these are powders. You can still do it with a powder. I love a cream because lots of women are scared of eyeshadow because they're worried about the blending, okay? They're worried about being able to blend properly. Whereas a cream eyeshadow really moves nicely, so there's no problems blending it. So it's just a lot easier, I'd say.
See, I use the paler cream just under the eyebrow there. No.
No.
Oh,
so, no. So, no. I feel that's, I mean, there's a time and a place to use that still. Like, that is really nice for black and white photography, black and white telly. Old. The Charlie Chaplin days. But no, I don't put any highlighter on anybody's brow. I think it looks a little bit old-fashioned. Okay. And actually, if you're going in with a nice smoky eye anyway, your natural skin tone will highlight this colour here. So it will look like you've got a highlighter on. So you don't really need to add more. I don't think. I think it can look a little bit old-fashioned. I'm sure it will come back again.
We all do.
But it's not in fashion at the moment, Andrea. Oh, stop it.
So what about drawing a line where your lashes are?
Eyeliner.
Just on the top bit.
Yeah, okay, right. So this is a great one as well. The top bit, top eyeliner. Okay, so loads of women struggle doing an eyeliner, especially with liquid eyeliner. If you've got a shaky hand or anything like that, then it's murder. And it does take years of practice to get a really beautiful, sharp line. Yeah. So my suggestion is you need a brush, an angled brush like this, okay? These are in the Donna May makeup kits. You need an angled brush like this and use a dark brown or a black even eyeshadow, right? And I'm going to show you this. I done it this morning on myself, but I'm going to show. So what you do with this is you're going to use the edge of that as a stamp, right? So it's really easy. So you get your eyeshadow. That's like just a dark brown one. And then what you do is you close your eye. At the end of the lashes, you stamp that onto the skin, heading up towards the bottom of the eyebrow, okay? So then you've got your flick. And then all you do, I'm going to have to use this little mirror in here, is then bring it round and join it up, stamping all the time, not brushing because you don't want to flick any of that powder anywhere. Bring it into your lashes and you've got a nice little flick there. And because it's powder, you're not worried too much if you make a little mistake because you can just dust it off. Whereas if you go straight in with liquid liner, after you've done all your lovely makeup and you mess it up, oh, it's murder getting it off, isn't it? Yeah. The Q-tip and you've got black eyes and everything. So that is a really, really easy way, just stamping it on and then dragging it along there. You get that nice eyeliner.
But also then you at least your flicks are even, because I've done it before where I've tried to do it freehand
Yeah.
and I've got one that's slightly up, one that's a little bit down, and so I just don't even
Yes.
bother. So okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So actually, they are just the width of that brush. So
Okay.
it's, yeah, so it's really easy to get them both the same size, like that.
Brilliant. Okay. Mascara
Yeah.
now.
Nice little tip. Mascara, yeah. So, um, I mean, everybody is really particular about their mascaras. And everyone's trying to find the best mascara in the world. And normally they're trying to find the best mascara because the mascara gives them panda eyes. Now, if they eradicate that moisturiser, their mascara will probably stay on, okay? But I have to say that since doing my masterclasses, the most popular mascara that comes out of everybody's makeup bag is the No. 7 mascara, which I had never tried, and I still haven't tried it yet, so I'm going to buy some and try it. I think it's called Stay Perfect by No. 7. And it seems that half the class, on every class I've done, has got No. 7 Stay Perfect mascara. So it must be the one to try. But I love a mascara that has got a tiny wand because I want to get right to the root and I want to make my lashes individual. I don't want them to clunk together. So my favourite mascara in the whole world is, hold on, let me find it, is Kiko. Oh, here it is. It's Kiko. So I think it's about a tenner. And it's called Kiko Maxi Mod. And it's got the tiniest, tightest wand. Do you see that at the end?
Yeah, yeah.
So there's hardly any bristles on it, to be honest. But it's really black. It gets right to the root. And as you go up, it makes them all sort of stand individually. So I love that rather than a big bushy brush. Yeah, I would choose that. And then lots of women are a little bit scared of putting mascara on their lower lashes because it can look too heavy. But there's some great mascaras. Let me just get this one out. There's a brilliant lower lash mascara by Clinique, and this is like, it's like I say this is like a little Dolly's mascara. Look at the wand; it's so teeny, but it's just nice to just press on your lower lashes. So you haven't got to paint them on like you do your top ones. Just press it on the lower lashes, and it just gives some definition to the whole eye area rather than leaving that out. You know, it's doing the underneath looks good. You know, you should try it. MAC also has a really nice small wand, but the Clinique one is called Bottom Lash Mascara.
Yeah.
So it's a good one. It's a nice one.
But if you don't want to get it, you don't have to. It's just if you want to try.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I use my Kiko one, and I just touch. So rather than doing all this, I just touch my lashes, my bottom lashes, and I keep it to the outside. I don't do the ones in here because then I feel like it looks too much.
Okay.
So it's all on the outside. Looks most flattering.
Okay. And then so what's next? Is it lips?
Okay. Yeah, lips is next. I mean, we didn't touch on powder actually.
Oh, okay.
And I kind of skim over powder because I don't like powder much, and I think powder again is really good for people who've got oily skin. Down the T-zone. Again, people need to be fussier with where they put powder. So rather than pushing it all over, just use it in the shiny areas only. But all powder will sit in the lines. There's no way around that. We've got lines, it's going to sit in the lines. And people say, how can I make my makeup last all day? You can't. You do have to touch your makeup up through the day. There's no getting out of it. You can use like a spray, a setting spray and stuff, but if you're going for 8 hours, you still need to pop to the ladies and give a little check, maybe add a bit more blush and a bit more lippy. So there's no real cheats way on that, not that I've found. If anyone has, then let me know. But yeah, so powder I skip over. If I'm going to use a powder, I will use a really, really fine translucent one. And I love, there's a couple that I love. One of them is by Lord & Berry. Let me find it, hold on. Oh, this one here. So it's lots of brands have got translucent powders, so it's so fine it feels like talc, I mean, it just really disappears. So if I'm gonna use a powder, it'll be really, really fine like that. The other thing lots of women talk about is, where do they put highlighter? Should they use highlighter if they're over 30, and where should they put it? So I love highlighter, and powder or cream. I normally use a cream one, but the places to put highlighter is, you've got to stay away from these lines because it will highlight the lines, okay? So highlighter goes on kind of this, like the hard bone here, yeah? And it kind of goes from the bottom of your brow, I'd say, up, sort of towards the hairline. If you put any down too far down here, it's going to sit in the lines and you're just highlighting all those lines. So really, you just want to tap it there. And highlighter's a really subtle product. When you're putting it on in the mirror, you're like, oh, I can't really see anything. But it's when you're out and about that it picks the light up. It looks lovely in the evening. It looks lovely in photographs. I always put a little bit on my nose. I don't know why, I just do. But don't put it on your nose if you've got a big nose, because it will make you look like you've got a bigger nose.
That's so
But if you've got a small nose like me, you can...
I think that, again, that's a mistake that I've made, is I thought you had to put the highlighter here, but that's interesting. So I mean, I'm quite lucky with my cheekbones. I got big cheekbones, so I always think, oh, I'm gonna highlight them.
Yeah, you have.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So just be aware. Just be aware that you're not putting it in those. And if you kind of squint as you're putting it on, you'll see where to stay away from. You don't want to add any near the eyes.
Okay. Now you're not wearing
and then lippy
Donna May red lip, because that's your logo, that's your go-to, that's what you're known
my
for.
Signature. Yeah, and I'm bringing out 2 red lips, Andrea, in September.
Oh, how exciting! How exciting!
So I'm bringing out a blue red and an orange red, because everybody is either one or the other. Some people can wear both. So yeah, I do. I just went for a bit of a fresh pinky look today, so I put a bit of pink gloss on instead. But nice. Lipstick is. I get every woman at my classes to try a red lip on, because every woman wants to know if they can wear a red lip or not. Lots of women think they're too old to wear a red lip, or their lips are too thin to wear a red lip. So I show them all. We go round and we choose what colour red they are. So whether they're a blue red or an orange red. And that's all to do with their skin tone. And then the technique of putting on any colour, really, I mean, including red, is, if you don't want it to bleed into the lines and you want it to last longer, is to put foundation over your lips, first of all, then a little bit of powder, and then go in with the colour. And what that does is that stops the bleed, and when it stops the bleed, it takes away the pink that you've already got on your lips. So the lipstick you're putting on comes out as its true colour, and it will make it last a lot longer. So that's a little trick there. So I get everyone to try a red lip, and half the class, I mean, most of them have never, they won't wear a red lip. And I can tell you now, more than half the class leave that class with that red lip on, because they can't believe the difference just by wearing the correct red. Yeah. The correct red. Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. And I love it. I love women. I think every woman can wear a red lip.
You always used to try to get me to wear a red lip when we were doing loose, and every time I'd go, I don't like it, take it off.
Take it off, take it off.
And for you, what is your go-to? Is it lipstick or lip gloss, or just a mixture of both, or what?
Mine is a chunky lip pencil, a matte lip pencil, a bit like this. I don't like wearing gloss much, because my hair sticks in it, and I'm just not a gloss girl. I like a matte kind of pencil. It lasts a lot longer. It's easier to apply, and there's none of that gloopiness, So I prefer a chunky type pencil to put on.
And I mean the pencils now. I mean, yes, you can, like today I used a lip liner and which is quite rare. I just saw it in my drawer and thought, oh, I'll give that a go. And I used it and then I just filled my whole lip in with it. And then I put like the same
Yes.
sort of color that was like a gloss. It was Charlotte Tilbury, both of them, on the top.
Yeah.
And I like that because it, like I say, the color lasts for a long time. So even when the shiny bit goes,
Yeah.
I've still got a bit of base there.
Absolutely, yeah. That's a really good trick of lining and colouring your whole lip with that lip pencil. And I mean, I say to lots of women, like sometimes women find the perfect lip pencil colour, you know, and they can't quite find the lipstick. Don't worry about it. Just wear the lip
No.
liner as your lipstick. It's like people just think they've got to stick to, you know, and I wear my lipstick as my blusher and vice versa. I do that. Yeah, so you got to lose that, what I've been told to do, you know.
Yeah. Are there any particular brands that you really like, or do you really mix it up?
I really mix it up. My only biggest thing is I never spend a lot of money on a mascara, ever. I prefer mascaras 15 quid and under. A lot of the time, the cheaper the better. They seem to last much longer than anything you're paying high end. They seem to dry out within 3 months, I think, a high-end mascara. So I never buy high-end mascaras. No, I love all brands. I mean, I always say spend a bit more on your foundations. Otherwise, spend what you want on the colour, you know, the blusher, the shadow, the lipsticks. But if you've got a nice base, you know, and normally they are a bit pricier, the bases, then that's what looks really good. If your skin looks really good, the rest of it will just
Yes.
add to it, you know. So yeah, happy days. I mean, you know, I buy stuff from all over the place, Primark, you know, to Chanel, everything. I like trying everything.
If people want to know more about you, Donna, where can they find you? And you know, you've said you've got a lipstick coming out in September. You've got other products because when I said you branched out, it was first of all it was into makeup bags. So where can people find you?
Yes. So they can find me well, my Instagram is and Facebook is Donna May London, at Donna May London. And the website is at Donna May London. No, it's not. It's www.donnamaylondon.com. Yeah, so I sell lots of makeup accessories that are really useful and convenient for women who don't want to faff about anymore. And
That's
at
such
really
a
good
great
price points.
tagline.
Don't need-
It's a brilliant tagline, but we really don't want to faff about because it's so true. Because your
anymore,
first
yeah.
makeup bag was
Yeah, and pay over the odds.
your first makeup
Sorry.
bag was the drawstring one that just
Yeah.
it's so clever. It just folds out flat, and so you can actually spread it out. You can see everything right then and there. If you're,
Yeah.
it's really useful for if you're on the hop. So
I've
if
got
you're
mine. I've got mine right here. There you go.
amazing, look at that. So you can see everything, and then zip, it
You
all
can
just
see everything and tidy it up in an instant.
yeah, brilliant.
Yeah, yeah, all about that. And good prices, not paying over the odds for things that we don't need to. I hate all that. So, yeah.
That's why I like you, Donna. It's for women who don't like any faff because we can't be doing with faff.
Yeah. Get Donna in. She
Get
doesn't faff
Donna in.
about.
That is a fact, actually. That is a fact. Oh,
Yeah.
and I promised last week, because last week's one, I did it with Nick, actually. We were talking about the stress of parenting teens, something we're going through right now.
Yeah.
That you were the one that was responsible for getting us together.
I wasn't I? Me and Dan, yeah.
It was
I'm missing
Donna
a
who
black.
went. You may have heard the story many times before. That it was Donna who went. Right, enough. You're too nice a lady to be sitting
Yeah.
around sad. I know this guy. I think you'll have a laugh. Come out with us. We'll have a little
Yeah.
foursome
Come
date.
out dancing. And that's what we did.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then the rest is history. So there we are.
Yeah.
You
We
can put a
danced all
face
night
to the
that night,
name.
didn't we?
It's that lady. It's that lady. Well, thank you for today.
Yeah.
That was
Oh.
amazing.
Oh, you're
I'm
so
gonna make
welcome. I hope it helps somebody.
it will, and I'm going to make a note of everything that we've said, and I'm going to put it on the notes for
Okay.
everybody, and I'll put the link to your site and everything else. But thank you for today. It's been awesome.
Yeah. Oh, so welcome. Take care.